well as a link to it down below in the more info. Again, I highly recommend watching that for everyone. And with that said, let's go ahead and switch over and get more in depth. So today, in a rather devastating blow to the jailbreak community, albeit a foreseen one, Apple issued iOS 8.1.3, the third incremental 8.1.x update, succeeding both 8.1.2 and 8.1.1 to the general public. Now currently, unlike the latest firmware's predecessor, 8.1.3 cannot be jailbroken by the latest TaiG jailbreak utility, which has officially been patched. Now in light of the rather painful fact that it's currently not possible to jailbreak 8.1.3, today's news isn't all bad. As with past iOS 8 and iOS 7 updates, in addition to being available through Apple's over-the-air, commonly referred to as OTA for short, update option, 8.1.3 can be downloaded and installed via iTunes. However, while it's possible for any device supported by iOS 8 to update to 8.1.3, it's of the utmost importance that current jailbreak users avoid today's new firmware at all costs. The new 8.1.3 update is a minor release. We also have information from Apple that several of the vulnerabilities exploited by TaiG are patched in iOS 8.1.3. And as of now, without an update to either TaiG or Pangu, it's not possible for any device to jailbreak 8.1.3 untethered when utilizing the latest jailbreak utilities. Now, looping back to the firmware itself, as suggested by iOS 8.1.3's release notes, the firmware simply rectifies minor bugs, including an issue that prevented select users from entering their Apple ID password for FaceTime and messages, a bug that caused Spotlight to stop showing app results, which was certainly an annoying one, a complication with multitasking gestures on iPads, and a few other oddities. Now, in other words, as far as iOS 8.1.3 is concerned, the update is relatively small, carries a slightly revised build number over 8.1.2, and is intended to improve a number of smaller issues present in iOS 8.1.2 and earlier iterations of iOS 8. Although 8.1.3 does provide a remedy for issues that have plagued devices running iOS 8, it's recommended that all users who are currently jailbroken on iOS 8 through 8.1.2 again avoid the latest update. And while it's definitely going to sound redundant, I simply cannot stress how important it is for those of you who are jailbroken to avoid iOS 8.1.3, as neither TaiG, Pangu, nor PP will function on the firmware as things currently stand. Now again, as I mentioned before, if you guys are interested in how to maintain your device's jailbreak, then just be sure to watch my recent video. It does include some really useful and helpful tips. Now, to summarize, several vulnerabilities utilized by TaiG have been patched in iOS 8.1.3, namely the primary kernel exploit, and it's anyone's guess which team will release the next jailbreak utility. They could very well opt to wait for iOS 8.2, seeing as it's both the next major iteration of iOS 8 and rumored for release sometime in March alongside the forthcoming Apple Watch. And in spite of the fact that security updates aren't really listed in Apple's official changelog for the firmware, TaiG's kernel exploit, in addition to several others, were indeed patched, as stated on Apple's official security page. And let's go ahead and switch over there just so I can show you guys really quick, and that's why I didn't release this video immediately following iOS 8.1.3's release, because Apple didn't actually update their security page with iOS 8.1.3. It simply showed 8.1.2 as being the latest firmware. However, I was able to find Apple's official support list.